Wednesday night, no remorph time once again. Thank you everybody for popping in. We got some hecklers in the crowd already. I know Jamie mentioned a few out there going, "What did this turn into? Whiskey Bomb Network? What's happening here with this late start?" But we've got multiple different things going on tonight, so fingers crossed everything works. We are pumping this out to Facebook Live, and we're pumping it out also to Instagram Live. So takes a little bit pre-show setup, a couple extra buttons to click, some different links to make there. So apologies on the few minutes late, but fantastic guest tonight. Somebody that's a little bit newer, at least on our side, and familiarity with Jeff, but he's coming in fast. He's coming in with all the right guidance. He's got great connections. He's already hopping on lives over on the Whiskey Bomb Network. So, and just a great all-around guy, period. And excited to hear a little bit more about him and see where he's headed, his direction, and all that good stuff. But a little bit of just touch-up news, I guess. We've got some crazy stuff coming for us anyways. The show's close now, guys. Eau Claire's
Only 4
Sunday.
days.
It'll be our first attempt at vending. We did get, some of the basics. We got, the banners and the tablecloths and some ARS displays, things like that. Small tower for some of the larger animals.
Fireworks.
But it's a fairly... What's that?
Fireworks.
Yeah, fireworks, pyrotechnics. We got all of that stuff going. Still up in the air on the dancing girls. We're trying to get them in there. But no, it's interesting getting all that rounded up if you've not done it before. I'm sure these seasoned vets that have their kits ready to go and everything packed, I mean, it's not that big a deal, but our checklist is quite honestly a mess. So we're getting it all figured out. Hopefully we get it pinned down.
It'll all pull together.
Yeah, Saturday is going to be the day. Right, you've all the snakes at home. So, and that's a different thing too, guys. If you haven't done that, nobody really specifically talks about that portion. They always talk about all your gear and things, but for Jamie and I to go through our half of the collection and the stuff we're bringing to this show and sort and go, does this make sense for this show? Does that make sense? Do we want 2 of those or do we need 3 of these? Like sorting that side of it when you're kind of limited, because I think we're going to try to keep it in the low 30s for what we bring. It's not a huge show. I think their turnout is pretty good, but I don't know what kind of volume they move there. So we're not going to bring a ton of animals. And picking those and selecting that is a little trickier than I thought. I mean, I'm looking at these racks going, God, that's really pretty. And I think, maybe on the lower end, they'd like that, but should we bring that instead? And that's maybe that $2,500 animal. It's like, I don't know if that, is going to work there. It's a weird deal, but
Yeah.
so we're having fun with that, ton of fun with it. But yeah, so if we get weird comments coming from Facebook, coming from Instagram, we should be able to see all that, guys. So please let us know on that side too. If it's coming through fine and you're seeing it and it looks good and it's something that's worthwhile, let us know that. Otherwise, we can, continue or drop those different event areas, platforms, and not go through all those steps in the beginning to get them set up. So thought we'd give it a whirl. But you guys have anything else I kind of missed in that mess? But
no, I don't think so. Got a little progress on the facility, getting the outside finally kind of more dried in, getting some fascia and soffit in, and then got the siding itself, and then we're pretty well moving to the inside, try to finish that up yet. So
nice. Yeah, that's all poking away, and we finally got the weather to do it. So that's awesome news. Can't wait till that progresses, to be honest. That's going to be fun to share out there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got all of the standard stuff. We'll go through our quick little announcements, say hi to everybody in the chat, and we're going to try to get to Jeff as quick as possible, get as much info from him as we can tonight. So first one that we always bring up, this runs all the way through July, guys, so it is still active. It's still important. If you have not done a Deeds Not Words shirt, go out and support these guys. This is for all the vets that put in their time, service, and made sacrifices for all of us, sight unseen, questions unasked, and this is just an attempt to give a little something back to normalcy for them. Camp freedom gets them back out into the things they used to enjoy or maybe never did enjoy and still want to experience. But some outdoor stuff, the kayaking, the fishing, hunting, camping, all of that stuff. So super important. It almost feels like a necessity, not really something you can skip on. So go grab a shirt if you want to do cash donations. Certainly that's obviously accepted and open too, but a lot of different tiers in there for things you can do. Important, and again, it goes through July, but might as well not procrastinate. Might as well just go out and get the stuff and get it done.
Per Chris, become a verified badass.
Yeah.
Yes, become a verified badass and get yourself a shirt. Exactly. Jay, that leads us to you.
Hey guys, here on No Remorph, the Forge loves giving good news to our viewers. And if you're in need of some premium substrate, we have good news. Chris over at BNS Reptilia carries Coco2go and The Chipper, 2 high-quality reptile bedding products. But the good news doesn't stop there. Chris also carries a variety of animals and accepts Forge coin. For anyone in the market for colubrids, ball pythons, blood pythons, or boas, make sure you reach out to Chris at BNS Reptilia.
Dude,
You
okay.
did so good on that.
Holy man. Did you have that
Good
written
practice.
down?
No, I've been saying it for a week now, since our last one.
Okay. Just driving back and forth to work. Good news.
Yep.
And the Forge loves giving out good news.
Hour and a half every day.
Yeah.
So funny.
That was different. I liked it, actually. It was well done, man. Appreciate that and appreciate Chris. So I'll just briefly mention the other ones up there that we don't have materials for yet. We are going to round that stuff up. But Bone Daddy, Vinnie over there, laser engraving stuff. He's also working some really nice monarch projects too, guys, and he's hatching those out right now. So don't hesitate. Vinny's a great guy, super easy to work with. Maybe not all there some days. No, I just like to give him a hard time. He's a great guy. Greg and TJ, Rippin' Reptiles, also joined up as a sponsor. Fantastic animals over there. You're not going to get a more honest, straightforward description of the animal, exactly how they feel about that animal. They're really big on portraying their stuff as upfront and forward as they can. Hey, this isn't a great eater, or this one's spicy as heck. Look out when you open the bag. I mean, you're going to get the full story from those guys. So appreciate them 100%. And same thing with Mark, Rat Bastard Royals, Pacific Northwest guy. Again, kind of newer to the scene, at least as far as doing the breeding and that stuff, but has some amazing animals coming, and a fantastic guy too. In fact, we had him on the show 2 or 3 episodes ago. Really a nice guy. Can't find a more trustworthy source. So definitely do not hesitate to reach out on that side. Brings us to who's sitting in here listening to this jabber. Jamie, you going to pop some names up here and say hi to people?
I sure am.
Okay. How about you say hi tonight? You yell out the names and say, thanks for coming, all that good
I'm
stuff.
not as good as you are. You can't do that to me spontaneously.
Well, that's the fun of it. Try to get you closer to the color of your shirt.
Shauna Kana, thank you for coming in.
That's
Right.
John's
How
favorite
about
thing.
How about we just go around the board?
Okay. Jay, you got it. And then we'll do round robin highs tonight.
Okay, Vance, Blue Zombie Morse, thanks for coming up.
And we got Fries Critters. Chris down there, down under. Appreciate you, sir. Lace Monitors, man. He's got some cool animals down there.
James B. James B. is our newest ForgeCoin affiliate, and his wife Brandy's cookies are included in that. So check that out for sure.
You can get
Jamie
cookies
got
for Forge
excited
Coin?
about those cookies.
You can
Heck
get
yeah.
cookies.
That's pretty good. Kike, also Reptiles, thanks for coming out.
Sultan of support. Got James Perry, Silent Assassin, dropping back in. Good to see James always. Hopefully you're enjoying those pint glasses down there you got in your merch pack.
Yeah. Sammy, I'm sporting Sammy's shirt tonight.
Very nice.
Thanks for being here, Sammy.
2%.
Your color comes out good,
Yeah, it
Jamie.
does.
All your colors do. Blaker's Pythons, thanks for coming out.
Appreciate you, sir. We got Dwight, the Pie Man. Dwight's in here almost every week, man. Pretty loyal watcher, and certainly appreciate that. Always good to see Dwight in the audience, man. That's fun.
This is our dad.
There he is. Good to see you, Dad. Thanks for coming out. Gotta love the folks coming out to watch and support. That's
I wonder
always
if Mom's
cool.
out there. Oh,
Right?
Craig's out there. Craig from Bass Coda Reptiles. Thanks for coming out, Craig.
Yeah, good to see Craig too, man. He's awesome.
It's
We got
definitely
a
harder.
lot of names out there.
Yeah, to scroll and talk. Yeah.
Nikki, Irresistibles, Nikki, Kurt, and Thorin. Always good to see the circle friends out there too.
Yeah.
They got a
Thorin's
lot of
so
stuff going
cute.
on, guys. Friday show, Saturday show, and I believe they have a Sunday show, Show Me Your Rack, too. Or maybe I got one of those days flipped, but there's our guy.
Vinnie, Bone Daddy Serpents. I forgot whose turn it was.
It's just going to be me and you, Jay, so we can
Yeah.
can roll through them. Jamie gets sidetracked. Just saying hi. Oh, we got Don D. You know what that means, guys. It's going to be every time. If he's in here, he's getting the love. Appreciate you, Don.
That makes me happy.
John. Big John from Mission Morphs.
And there
Wondering
he
when
is.
Santa Claus is going to get here today.
Ho, ho, ho.
Our start time heckler.
Yeah.
Got Mitzi. I'm going to try it. Yep,
You
I
can do it.
kind of got
Oh,
it.
you did good.
Yeah. Good to see you, Mitzi, as always. Get your shirt out to you shortly.
Kike again. Hey, thanks for coming again.
Did I already have him up there?
You did. That's okay. We'll say hi twice.
Bosa boss.
Jason Opelt, we got a strike on our copyright for playing your song, but appreciate you coming out, sir. We're going to have to fix that one again. It catches us every time we try to sneak
Might have
it
to
in
do
there,
the
but
songs ourselves. After
Yeah.
karaoke,
What's
I think
good?
we got it covered.
What's good, all you mofos?
Look at what I have handy.
Oh, karaoke.
Very good.
Karaoke. Not to be confused with karaoke. Good to see you, Will. Appreciate you, man.
Will. Sorry, I dropped the ball there.
Jay, there's
Robert?
your guy.
Robert Wade. Good to see you. Only a couple hours in between there. Robert is a really good guy. Gets us some good quality feeders, man.
Yeah, he's an excellent guy, and the rats are phenomenal. Yep. Eric, good to see you, sir. ERS Reptiles. Thanks for coming out, man. Doing well tonight. Hope you are too.
Dickie Foster.
Dickie Foster.
Again.
He's rounding that 499th lap. Got the Graceful Python crew. That's Jamie's name twin, both Jamie Stewarts, if you can believe that. But
Yeah, how crazy. That's so cool.
always, yeah, it is. Always good to see them out there too.
Hey, there's Mom.
There's the other half.
Hey, Mom.
Mom,
Mom.
give her the salute. Jose, good to see you, sir. Good to see you popping back in again too. It was a little bit of gap in time there, but you keep making the rounds back, and we certainly appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome to see you. And there he is. Rat bastard.
Rat Bastard Royals.
Right? Newest sponsor and one of the newer affiliates too. So appreciate Mark out there, man. Fantastic guy. Brave, having a smoothie for you tonight. It's a hops smoothie.
Oh,
Appreciate
man.
you. LMK
Ken from
Ken.
LMK.
Never late.
coming up,
Always
Ken.
on time, Ken. RWO is doing big stuff over there, guys. If you haven't seen their shows, pop over to their network and watch. They're adding stuff all the time. Vision Quest, Big Dan, your animals are doing fantastic here. Can't thank you enough again for those. Both fantastic animals. Sean Oakley. Okay. It's a new one to me, but hopefully they come on back, man. Appreciate anybody that pops in, liking the show, hit the subscribe button, and come back and sit with us. It's always a good time. So it's good to see you and nice to meet you. Eric B.
Eric B.
The driver's seat shadow right there. I always sit in the
Listen to
front seat
Eric
of his
and
car.
hit that smash that like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications.
Absolutely. It's a smart man. Josh, having
Josh.
a ball. Another affiliate there. Appreciate you coming out, sir. We got to be right down there, don't we?
Yep, all caught up.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. We're going to get through these quick couple commercials, and we'll be right out with Jeff. I'm kind of anxious to see what he's got to tell us. So,
For sure.
hang tight, guys. If you got to use a restroom, do it. But, man, you don't really want to miss these. These are great commercials. But we'll see you on the other side, guys, about 2 minutes, 20 seconds. All right, we are back, and we appreciate all of those people, the affiliates in there 100%. Jeffrey over at GTL, good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in. Jeffrey is on next week. So
yeah, I'm so excited to introduce gecko breeders.
Keep an eye out for that. Got some awesome geckos and a super nice guy. So, but yeah, appreciate the sponsors. Appreciate all those affiliates. Charlie, as always, if you need sheds tested, that's the first stop. So appreciate you, Charlie. He reached out right away and said, hey, let's get something going. So first guy to hop on the train. Jamie, you got the comments out there? You going to be able to forward those to us? You guys got questions or things we're missing? Maybe you just want to give Jeff a hard time. That's okay, too. We're going to pop some of that stuff up there if Jamie catches it. We'll try and make sure that we get that to Jeff. So without further ado, guys, let's get the guest out tonight, yeah? Jamie, pop you backstage. See you in a bit.
See you
later. There he is. All the man of the hour. How you doing today, Jeff?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
I'm probably better than Jeff in the snake room.
Yes, a tad bit warm, but I'll make it. Yeah.
Okay. We noticed that. Yeah, you asked if it was okay, and I don't see any issue with having. I'm like, yes, please turn the fan on. We don't need you just going bloop out of the screen, halfway through the show.
Drop, it just got unbearable. But no, I actually my office, so I work in here every day, all day.
Gotcha. Stronger man than me, man. I can't sit in that humid heat. I just cannot do it. But
I had to let my boss know it's not you making me sweat. Don't get it twisted.
Right. Well, it's awesome to have you here. I'm sure, again, a lot of these faces in here we recognize. We know they're with the Whiskey Bomb Network over there. They've seen you pop up on the Genetic Canvas episodes, in the different things you've done over there. You've sat on some of the panels. You're active in that side of the community, right? But there's a lot of faces out here that aren't going to know you and your specifics. Do you want to kind of give a quick introduction and brief synopsis of yourself?
Sure. First I want to thank you guys for having me on the show tonight. I really appreciate that. Let me see where to start. if you think about my reptile experience, I actually bought my first ball python in 1996, I believe it was. I bought two of them, and was going to breed them. Um, had no idea what I was doing. Um, my dial up wasn't fast enough really to bring up anything of value.
Right.
The guy at the pet store really didn't know anything. Ended up one of those ended up dying. I ended up giving the other one away. Fast forward 10 years after that, I ended up getting a Burm. Had a Burmese for about 5 years, and she died. Cleopatra, um, really cool snake. Uh, Used to let her free roam in my apartment. Pretty awesome. Um, and then I just got out of it for a while. I, got into motorcycles and just a whole bunch of other things. Had a home improvement business on the side, so I was just doing a lot of other things. And maybe a year ago, close to a year ago, I went to a Repticon show and walked past a table and saw a pied, a yellow belly pied, um, and that kind of just was the hook in the mouth that and somebody just kind of reeling me in. Uh,
Right. It's always the pieds, man. It's always the pieds.
Yeah, it is.
And what I remember was, back when the first time I ever saw a pot, it was in a picture in a reptile magazine. And the thing was, I don't know, $12,000, $15,000, something that I couldn't afford. So when I saw the price of it, I said, wait a minute, uh, I can afford this thing. Um,
Right.
so I ended up buying them. And then the next one I bought was a female super pastel um, pied, and I had again grand ideas of pairing and mating and breeding, um, but what I quickly realized after buying, I don't know, three or four more, was that my plans were really linear. You know,
Yeah.
my
Mm-hmm.
plans were really linear, and in listening to different podcasts and listening to different people, it was like, wait a minute, you're doing it all wrong. So I attended. Well, first I jumped on every podcast I could. Um, tried to get my name out there, and really wasn't about growing a business. It was about just getting help, talking to people,
Hmm.
um, and I wasn't shy about the fact, hey, I'm new, I need help. I don't understand this. I didn't have a problem asking questions. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and, it just so happened over on the Whiskey Bomb Network, I was tapping in every night. And I think I was tapping in here pretty much every night too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And, um, I found out Keys and I actually didn't live too far. So,
Okay, that's great because that was going to be one of our first things is like where are you located, and that gives us an idea. So
yeah, so
Central
I'm in
Georgia or West Central.
Georgia. I'm in West Georgia,
Okay,
about 25, 30 miles maybe from downtown Atlanta, about 30 miles from the Alabama border, maybe.
gotcha.
Not far. But after connecting with Keys and just he was very helpful in introducing me to other people in the hobby. And right around that time, a little later, Siri was coming up. So I made it my business to attend Siri and meet a lot of the people that I had seen on the podcast. And that's kind of just where it took off from there. I had seen Jared on the genetic canvas, um, and got a chance to talk to him at Siri and really was able to pick his brain. And I think the fact that he was so helpful just helped reel me in even more. Everybody was really just helpful, answered questions. I didn't feel like any question was a dumb question. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
That I think made all the difference in the world. That the because it can be a little intimidating when you talk to some of these guys and they rattling off genes like,
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, slow down, say that again. You know,
Right.
What was it like when you met these guys? When you actually went and met them in person, I assume you probably talked to some people, probably Keys or some of the guys off of the podcast, kind of on phone or chatting or stuff like that, right?
I think I chatted with Keys a couple of times. I chatted with, might have chatted with Wiz a couple of times.
Yeah.
And they knew I was coming to Siri. But, when I got there, I made it my business to go up and introduce myself, let them know who I was. And it
Yeah.
was just, everybody was very welcoming, and
Yep.
just like extra helpful. And I was like, this is pretty cool,
Yeah. 100%.
Was that part of it a bit of a shock to you? I mean, was
You
that
know,
a surprise that people were so open and willing to just give whatever advice and help they had?
I think it was, because, sometimes, and maybe I'll just say, corporate America can taint you,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
and if you work in corporate America, like I have for a long time, everybody's not always willing to help, you
No.
know, or they're
No.
willing to help on one side and stick in the back, your knife in the back on the other side, then
Yeah.
calling the police for carrying a concealed weapon. So,
Right.
Right.
like, but no, it was really genuine. And at Siri, I got a chance to connect with Jared, Craig from Bash Coda, my, brother from another mother,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wiz, Keys, oh my goodness, Will from Flawless. I don't want to leave anybody out. Everybody was really helpful.
You inevitably will, because there's so
Yeah,
darn
yeah.
many.
but it's
They
just,
won't take it personal. They won't. Trust
it's
me.
just everybody was helpful. Got a chance. I had seen some of Juan's from Windy City Snakes and had a chance to talk to him, and everybody was really open with tips. And here's what you need to do. A lot of them said the same thing: start slow. Um, don't buy a lot of stuff based on what it looks like. I was like, yeah, that ship has sailed. Too late for that. So,
Right. Yeah. We've all done that for sure.
but then it was just about, now it's just about learning, and it still is.
Yeah.
Learning as much as I can, identify some projects, and then just trying to figure out which one I really want to dive into, um, and trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Just loving the hobby. I'm not about. I don't really care about making a lot of money. I'd do it for free if I could. The only reason, I feel like, I need to do a little bit of business is because, my wife is like, yo, you're paying a lot of money for those rodents because I don't breed my own rodents. So
Yeah.
she was
Okay.
like, something. But
At least keep it an even keel, right? She doesn't want to
yeah,
see this constant outgo. Yeah.
break even, right? Bring a little in at least. So,
Yeah.
but she's been great about it. She just drew the line at the rodents. But I am getting ready to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna partner with someone, Sean, actually, who's in the chat. Uh, Hopefully, breed some rodents to help both of us. So,
Yeah.
Nice.
Good plan. It sounds like you're kind of setting yourself up to be able to go some different directions with genetics. As you were saying earlier, you were really kind of too focused, too linear. Is that what you meant by that? You kind of
yeah. So
getting a good mix.
when I say linear, I was kind of like, let me make sure I get one male, one female. Make sure
Okay.
they go. That makes sense instead of looking for that one male and these three females with some genes and make some combos, make some heads. What's my
Yeah.
ultimate, goal?
Mhm.
And I think I'm narrowing it down slowly. Of course, during that time, I wasn't completely focused. I was still like, ooh, I like that.
Shiny. Yeah, that one's shiny.
Still fell for the shiny object every now and then.
Yeah.
Right.
More every
Well,
now and less then, but
I'm always curious about that because I've heard, people say, well, pick a project or pick, a gene that you like and focus on that, which I'm not saying that's bad. And I mean, everybody's got an opinion, but for me, I feel like you're better off. You don't want to go every direction at once, but you need to have enough stuff to be able to change directions, um, go some different directions, and even bring things back together. You know what I mean? And if you just focus on one thing, I mean, you're really almost kind of beating yourself in the corner.
yeah, I didn't do well with focusing on one thing.
Yeah,
If that
just
was the goal,
naturally.
yeah, if that was the goal.
Yeah.
But no, I started focusing on about, I'd say, three or four, with some outliers. Let me say that.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
pretty heavily focused on Ultra Mel.
Okay. Nice.
Looking at trying to make the Ultra Mel Clown Hypopod, Ultra Mel Clown Hypo, Ultra Mel Clown DGs. Going down that path. I did also invest in Scrambler. Uh, I'm really interested to see what Scrambler can do. I haven't seen a lot of different combos with Scrambler.
It's always OD and Calico, and you kind of see them rehashed a little bit. I agree. Yep.
So there's some genes that I want to see what happens with it. And the one thing I'm kind of careful about saying, okay, I want to put it with this or put it with this, because what I don't want somebody to go, I don't think it'll look good with that. Well, the beauty of this to me is that you don't know what it's going to look like, really.
Right.
For sure, you don't. I mean, you can have an idea, but yet sometimes it shocks you. You just go, what in that?
Sometimes you go, ugh, I didn't think it would look like that. But sometimes you go, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think
100%.
that's the beauty of it. I feel like, I'm damn near 60 years old, but I feel like, this like a kid, trying to, at Christmas, if you will.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I always think about like the first person that got two gravels together, made that first super gravel. They had to be like, what is this? Doesn't look anything like the single form, right? So, and I'm sure there's a lot of combos out there yet that are going to shock people when they see them for the first time.
And I'm, going to shows, I get ideas. I've got some Mario, and I'm not strictly focused on recessives. Looking at, possibly, some combo to combo, codoms kind of pairings, just seeing what they do,
Absolutely. And especially the ones you haven't seen. Like, how do we progress this if people just all do the same stuff? Like, regardless if somebody thinks it's going to work or not, I'd still prefer somebody try it so we get a look at it and we can determine, hey, let's not do that again. You know what I mean? Or
and I'm sure everybody does it. But sometimes I just sit in here and look at the tub and go, I wonder what you would look like paired with, with this.
Yeah.
I wonder what this would look like. And, I write some things down and talk to other people and see what, they have. And actually already
absolutely
some combo pairings with people. Oh, wait, you have what? I'm like, I have. So maybe we run them together, that way we're not both investing in something.
Right.
And it brings both of you up. You're bringing both of you up at the same time, which nothing wrong with that, man. Rising water raises all ships,
That's right. Yep. Rising tide. And I feel like everybody's been so helpful. It's just, if I can help somebody, I will. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with the reptiles. I don't mind doing things for people, just who I am. I don't mind helping.
That's badass. And not to interrupt at all, but I am going to pop this up. Good to see you, Val. Duval, congrats, man. pulling his first clutch this year, so shout out to you on that.
Yeah, it's
Not
awesome.
to interrupt or change subject at all, but we got to try to highlight that stuff when people got good news, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping to pull my first clutch this year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we getting close? How far out are we?
So we've got some pairings actually going on right now as we speak. We might be breaking the mood. I don't have the Barry White going. Um, got some
Storms
pairings.
in the area?
Yeah.
Any
No,
weather going
they
on?
were-
No.
They passed.
Ah, okay.
I did have them together during the storm, but when I looked, they weren't locked. He wasn't, and he was still in his corner. So hopefully he's come out of his shell.
Yeah. So what have you gotten for input on that? What is your plan? I know this is probably like your first year really attempting this in a serious way.
Mm-hmm.
What are people telling you? How long to leave that mail in there? What to look for? Or what's your process? Let's say with these first couple.
That's the interesting thing is that you get so many different opinions or methods, I should say. Because it's not opinions because a lot of people have done it and it's worked for them.
Right.
So the first pairing, I left them in there 4 days. The other one, I left in there 5 days. So I'm looking at 4 to 5 days. I've been told, 3 is good. I've heard somebody say leave them in there 7 days.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Check them morning and night.
Check them. Yep. And if I see a lock, fine. And then when they separate, then I know I can pull them out.
Yeah.
Sure.
It all depends on what I'm seeing, and I try to read the body language. If I pull that sub open and he's at one end and she's at the other end.
Yeah. Been there.
Both got their noses jammed in the corner. They're like not even. Yeah.
Looking at the wall. She's looking at the wall that way. He's looking at the wall that way. But if they're
kind of like a middle school dance a little bit.
Exactly. If they're laying and touching, I'm like, that's kind of like dry humping. I'm going with it. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
So,
thing that cracks me up is the new males. It all depends. Some of them just have that reflex, and right away you can tell like their tail kind of comes up and they're kind of cruising around. John always calls them the RC car. So they've got it figured out right away, and other ones are completely oblivious. Like they don't have any idea why they're in here. What is that thing doing in here with me? And takes them two or tee pairings.
Why am I here again? And then I have one, put him in and he just took in there. So
isn't that funny?
Yeah. On your pairings, Jeff. Oh, I'm sorry. The little bit of delay, so I don't mean to like talk over you ever if that happens. But on your pairings, are you working with strictly first time both sides? Do you have proven breeders on one side? Do you kind of have a mix? What's that group look like?
So mostly everything I have is first time.
Okay.
Just about everything I have is first time. When I got in, I decided I was going to buy a bunch of babies. And then when I started thinking about, I'm not the most patient person. And, as they were growing up, I was like, let me grab a couple of subadults and, the females that are closer. But they're all first timers. But mentally I'm prepared. If they decide, hey, we're not doing it, then it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Just is, yeah.
The thing about it is, I control nothing. I control the temperature. I control when they eat. Pretty much.
Do you scan or anything?
So I have an ultrasound. I did invest in an ultrasound because someone was, asked me to palpate, and my hands just aren't. I just can't feel it.
I can't either. That is so tough. Yeah.
I did buy an ultrasound, and one of the things I did when I first got in, I started a channel called Chronicles of a Newbie on YouTube, just kind of going through my journey. So one of my next videos is going to be me actually attempting to ultrasound.
Oh, cool.
So it may work, it may not work. One of the things I think sometimes people talk and it just sounds so easy.
Yeah.
But when you
Right.
try to do it, sometimes it's not as easy as you would think.
Yeah.
I watched the video, and Justin holds a snake up and puts the ultrasound on, the snake never moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours are like a
Oh, yeah, it's all over the place. It's like, what kind of snake you have that I don't have,
You
but
got gel all up on your neck and down your
yeah,
shirt.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, sometimes it's important. I know it was for me to see kind of what's the real world experience. You know what I mean?
right.
It doesn't always go the way you want. It doesn't always work just like you want it to. So when I put that video out, it'll be live, and I may not see anything, or I may see something. I don't
Right.
know, but hopefully someone else who's new understands that. Hey, it doesn't always go the way you want, But the one thing I know is we're going to keep pushing,
Yeah.
keep pushing, and sooner or later we'll get it.
Yep.
There was a time that I didn't know how to pop. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to pop. So I have probes, and I was using probes, and then I went to AARPE and Brian Carter, and also Courtney from Leviathan had showed me how to pop. And after I left, I couldn't do it. And one day I came in here and it worked.
Yeah.
Hell, I
Now you have the feel for it, and it's a little
damn near threw the
Yep.
snake in the air. All right,
Right. Yeah, it took me a while to get the feel of that too.
Yeah. Once I learned,
and I'll tell you. Oh, I was going to say, and I'll tell you what, it's not as reliable and as simple as you think, especially on these babies that are maybe just 6 meals in. We do still probe before we ship just to be sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we mark them all down, pop, do our thing, tag them all, put them in the system. But man, when we go to box them, let's get the probe kit out just to be sure. We don't want to, and you could still be wrong, but
yeah, I'm comfortable probing, but I was never comfortable popping until recently.
Yeah.
Again, it's just one of those things. I should have filmed it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to give a shout out to that Chronicles of a Newbie too during this, because I went back as we, invited you as a guest. We wanted to talk with you anyway. I'm like, I'm going to go check out the YouTube channel. I hadn't been over there. They're awesome. You did a perfect job for what I think 99% of people need to see is genuine. It's like you aren't pulling anybody's leg. You're not pretending to know things you don't. And that's what people need to see coming into this. They don't need to get just the straight information so glazed over and so quick that they try to repeat it themselves, but don't see the reality and the learning process of it, which you portray perfectly. So props on that.
Yeah, I've always been the type of person I learn better by doing. I give me a book, you can show me a video, but put it in my hands and let me do it.
Yep.
And guide me that way. I've always been better that way, and this is the same thing. It's no different. I keep dodging that first bite though, but I'm sure that's good too.
Yeah. That's
not been
pretty good.
Not been nicked yet.
No.
Okay.
They've tried. I had a couple make the attempt tonight, but
Yeah.
They
babies, man.
Oh, I got a 600-gram clown in there. As soon as I opened up the tub,
Yeah.
I'm big, but I can move a little bit. Bobby.
Yeah. If anything will get you moving, it's that for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And you are a big guy. I mean, I've seen the pictures from these How tall are you, Jeff? Because I see you with these people and I'm like, are these the smallest people in the world, or is Jeff enormous?
About 6'4".
Okay,
Okay.
that's what I was guessing, but all right. Big guy. I'm looking at you got your arm around all these guys that some of them we've run into in person. I'm like, holy man, they look tiny.
Well,
So yeah, it makes sense.
you're good, John. You didn't ask my weight, so we're all right now.
Now I stay away from that myself. I don't want to know what I'm at, so I'm never going to ask someone else.
It is what it is.
Right, right. But yeah, that again, like I say, that if you haven't seen it, guys, Chronicle of a Newbie over on Jeff's YouTube. The link is in the description for the video too. Jump over and watch a couple of those. They're really good, man. I only have my picture taken with midgets. That sounds like a Limey plan right there. Dude, Limey kills me. Such a great sense of humor on that guy. Yeah, I know, Will. You're not a small guy either, and yeah, I was just shocked at some of the pairings at the show. You know, it's always a hi and a handshake, but you get to see like a person side by side, and everyone. I was like, holy man.
Yeah, I like to.
Yeah,
I like to meet people. It's just like you go to these shows and you see people and you can match a face with a name that you see in a chat. Then you
Yeah.
start talking to them, and it's just you find out you have things in common outside of the hobby, and
Oh,
it's been great. Everybody I've talked to so far, like I said, has been really helpful, um, really open. And I don't have thin skin, so a lot of people, oh no, I wouldn't do that. Well, okay, tell me why. Oh,
right.
that makes sense. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Redirect me if you hear me going wrong. You know what I mean? And that's why I
Right.
always say on the video on the YouTube, put your comments down there. If you've got feedback, a better way for me to do it, I'm open. I'm open. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely great attitude there because the minute you stop learning, you're not making any progress.
oh yeah, I
And I'd
learned
say
some
it
great
on,
things on this.
yeah, I say it all the time. Like brand new or newer people that come on the show, we take something away from the show every time. They always have some piece of information we go, oh, never thought about that. Do you know what I mean? Whether they're 2 weeks in or whether they're 20-year guys. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
And I try to pick up gems from every podcast, every book I read, every show. And I think sometimes people think a lot of these shows are just a lot of playing and talking crap to one another, which is cool. That's
it's
great.
fun. Yeah, community builder a little bit. Yeah.
But within there, a lot of times you catch some things.
Yep.
If you listen, the guys
100%.
are just talking about, whether it's about rodents, whether it's about the snakes, whether it's about breeding plans,
Hmm.
things that happen to them. Um, you know, so I just that's what I enjoy. Really just meeting people, talking to people, and then the animals are just freaking amazing. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and meeting the people back when I was asking you about when you met some of the people from the podcast.
Mhm.
If you haven't met the people, I think people would be shocked to find out that who they are on their podcast are they're either that or even better. I mean, some of them
Yeah,
are even more outgoing when you meet them in person, which is, again, it's super rare. It's a really, really unique community. And it's pretty rare to find that. And everybody we've met, same way.
yeah. I had the opportunity to go to Chinley uh, this past March, uh, and that was an amazing experience. Uh, Wiz whispered in my ear when we were at Siri. We were talking about Tinley. He whispers. He goes, "Get the VIP pass. Trust me, get the
Yeah.
VIP." So I was like, "Okay." Had no idea what the VIP pass was. Got there on Friday, to pick up the pass, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, you can go in now." I was like, "Oh, really?" Go in. You know, Other breeders are
Worth
setting
it.
up, but you have a chance to talk to them and get their tips. And
Yeah.
I have some videos where I talk to Will from Flawless, Bob Vu, uh, who else? Muscles and Geeks, and ask them, hey, what are your tips for new breeders? I'm going to post it, but quite honestly, I'm struggling with editing this damn video. I am not an editor by any stretch of the imagination. So,
Right. Some of those are the best ones, though. But
yeah, I started to say the hell with it and post it, but then when I looked at it, I was like, okay, wait a minute.
We got to touch it up a little, huh?
Yeah, I got to touch it up a little bit. I am going to put them out there because I got some good tips in terms of what to do as a new breeder, what tips and tricks and things to avoid as a new breeder. So it's and that just helped me. Honestly, when I talked to Bob, you know, we found out that he's probably, I don't know, 45 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he went to the same college as my daughter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just weird overlaps and
Yeah,
connections, and
all those
yeah,
different crazy things, and but just a real good opportunity. And I remember talking to, what was his name? Southern Star Reptiles, John Jake. I can't remember his name, but he said to me, "Tell me one time since you've been, you know, I think he said 30, where you feel like you're a kid again at Christmas time."
right.
Yeah.
Other than these eggs and these
So
animals,
that's
yeah.
so true. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think about that, but you got a point.
Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
right.
So
We'll ask Jamie when
We-
she comes out here. You get a big 2 thumbs up on that. That's her favorite thing. man.
She's been doing it the whole time back there, like, yes.
Yeah.
I've seen a post about the gecko eggs. So
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
excited,
yeah.
man.
yeah.
Loves it.
So we all do try to stay positive. We all try to, focus on that side of it and not to focus on this at all, but maybe just a heads up for people of things that have maybe been negative for you. Are there some things that you ran into where you just say, I probably could have avoided that, or weren't as good as you anticipated?
Okay. One thing that Jeff jumps out: if you do not breed your own rodents, you really need to think about how many snakes you want to buy, how many you want to keep, um, because I'm a believer in, if you're going to breed them, feed them,
Yeah.
and
It'll break you, man.
yeah,
It will.
yeah. And I'm the type that if I pull the tub open and she looks hungry, I'm like, hey, I'm coming by. I need to pick up a rat, and
Yeah. Yeah.
drop the rat in there. But when I look at the expenses, and keep in mind, I haven't had a clutch yet. It's all just
Right.
expenses,
Yeah.
overhead,
Yep.
um, debits on the liability sheet, not credit. So,
Right.
I
Absolutely.
think that's a big one. And a couple of times I've looked at it and I'm like, damn, I got to do something. I told my wife I'd buy her a purse, jewelry. Yeah, she's like, no rodents. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just it's one of those things where I just sat back and I said, it's what I want to do. I'll figure something out.
Right.
Yeah.
And there might be someplace else I have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that because this is what I want to do.
Right.
I'm
Right.
getting close to that retirement age, and I hadn't quite figured out what I wanted to do when I retired. And I told my wife, I think I found it,
Yeah.
because for me, this is a great retirement hobby. I tell her all the time, work gets in the way of my damn hobby.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But you're
But-
right on. Without the rats, man, you end up having to extend
Yeah.
that working for another 10 years. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's one big one. The other one is, I had to think. Don't underestimate the cost. it's not a cheap hobby,
Right.
and it can get very expensive very quickly. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. So mainly just do some checks on yourself, like the actual budget involved before
Right.
you get going too far,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
You know, there's just don't go into debt for it. You know, or try not to anyway. Um, you're going to see animals you want, and a lot of time, you know, it's like you see that car you want. You know you can't afford that car, but that's the car
Yeah.
you really want. It's the same thing with these snakes. You know, you
Yeah.
see something and you go, "Oh, I really want that." You know,
Yeah.
then you look
Yeah.
at the
The impatience, like you said too, man. You're like, man, I want to make them now. And I tell you what, we
now.
found the solution. We
Yep.
found a solution to that, though. All you got to do is build a facility. And you have no money, and you cannot go buy anything. So that'll
Yeah,
do it.
when your money is officially all gone, it ends that buying spree in a
It
hurry.
ends it all, right? Yeah.
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 But you know, I'm always looking for ways to, you know, do things better. I'm always listening for ways to do things better, not necessarily looking, because you know I don't. Again, I'm new to this. I'm newer, so there's people who've been doing it longer than me that have answers. You know, and
Yeah.
I don't. I'm going to ask questions like, look, you know,
Yeah.
here's my issue. You know, did you
It could
have this?
save you money and time, right? If you don't have
Yeah.
to make the same mistakes, because somebody can kind of tell you, don't do that.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
I think the other thing I would say is get a mentor. Get someone
Yep.
who you can talk to, bounce your ideas off of. Get someone who will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the most important part.
Yeah, I think that's important. You know, shout out to Josh. Met Josh at Siri as well. Another one. See, you know, always dropping gems. But you know, I got like Jared is. I'll call him my mentor, and shit, Jared's probably 30 years younger than me. You know, I'm like, kid
Yeah.
telling me what to do, shit. But
Right. Look here,
Yeah.
kiddo.
but you know, Jared's got knowledge. You know,
Yeah.
shit. If I could get a brain dump, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at things, and I'll run things by him. And I knew he was kind of a good person for me when the first question he said was, "Why would you do that?"
Right.
And I said, "What?" And he said, "Why would you do that?"
Yeah. What's your thought process? Because he's actually thinking too, and he wants to know maybe
Right.
you've got something he
Maybe you
didn't
have a
think about.
reason.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
And I told him, I think my answer was, I think it would look right. He said, "Yeah, but does it set you up to reach your end goal? Does it push you towards that end goal?" So, you know, he's got me thinking now about moving forward in the way I pair and how I pair, what I pair with what, you know,
Yeah.
all of those things. And then, you know, just listening to people, especially lately, I've been asking people a lot about the rodents, you know, what's that like? And,
hmm
because that,
Don't ask us. You won't like any of our answers.
look, I don't
Yeah.
I don't like any of the answers I'm hearing. You know, and I
They're an evil, necessary evil, and that's all you can say. You just kind of grunt through it. And honestly, when Jamie and I are out there working, I don't really mind them. They're cute. They're I mean, as cute as a rodent can be. You know what I mean? I don't really mind them, but it's work. I mean, it's a lot of time sink, you know. So just know that side of it and just put your nose to the grindstone kind of deal.
yeah, you know, but when I'm in here cleaning tubs, and I'm good. You know, I can do
Yeah.
that. Put a podcast on, put some music on, and just go. You know, but look at the rodents, and I'm like, that's a different kind of work. You know,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's a necessary evil.
hmm
Yep. Kind of has to be
Yep.
in there.
There's always the chance that you've got an allergy too. A lot of people do have an allergy, and they don't realize it feeding snakes because it's different, especially if you're doing frozen thaw. But then you get in where you've got all these live dander
Start
everywhere,
stirring the bedding,
like, oh
and you
God.
start, dumping the dust, and boy, you know it instantly. You cannot take it for long.
Yeah, I got a good gas mask already that I think I'll be wearing
There you go.
just so I don't breathe it in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good plan.
To what Darren just said is key. Being able to feed whenever you want.
Yep.
And then the other piece of that is a couple of times I brought them home and I had a few that didn't eat.
Yeah.
And then a few that didn't want a second.
Yeah.
Throw those out.
So you're like, what do I do with these rodents? Next thing you know, I'm in the backyard in the woods. Hey, be free.
Yeah.
You could conk them on the head and freeze them quick.
Yeah. I feed live. Just me. I don't have the patience to feed frozen thawed.
Yeah, it's more work for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely more work. Yeah. Yeah, and it's the waiting. You have to remember, because that's what I do is frozen thawed. So it's like, okay, yeah, it's feeding. So 2 hours early, basically, you start the process, right? Which is it's a pain.
Throwing them
But
out.
Yeah. It is convenient in other ways, but
right, to your point, you can feed whenever you want.
Yeah.
Whenever they look hungry, you stall one out and feed them.
Yeah. So speaking of necessary evils, we're at the part of the show where you got to face one of those here. That's the hot seat. You're already sweating. You're sitting in your snake room at 80 degrees, 70% humidity.
I'm not already in the hot seat.
No, it's gonna get a little worse if anything. So, but you got Jamie across from you, which is always good. That's totally fun.
Can't be too bad. Let's go.
No. Let's put you in there. We're gonna see what kind of results we get, and Jay and I will be back if you're still upright.
All right.
All right, here we go. Let's do hot seat time, guys. Good luck over there, Jeff.
It's time to play the game. It's time to play the game. Let's go.
That makes me smile every time. So good. Are you ready for the hot seat, Jeff?
I think so. It's already warm in here, so.
Backstage, we were talking, and you actually answered one of these questions. We'll see how consistent you are. It's the very first question I've got for you.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Football or basketball?
Oh, football, hands down.
All right. Clown or pied?
Clown. Clown pied.
What's that? A clown pied? Yeah.
Pied.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with a clown pied. Pieds are my ultimate favorite. Homemade grilled foods or a night out for Italian food?
Ooh. Are we talking authentic Italian, or are we talking we're not talking like Olive Garden, right?
Or whatever your idea of Italian food is.
Oh, that's tough. I like food. I'm gonna go with authentic Italian.
Okay, very good. If you could only use one condiment for everything, which would it be?
Hot sauce.
Yeah?
Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything.
That's fun. Who wins in a cage match? Godzilla or 10 monitor lizards?
Gotta go with Godzilla on that one.
What's that?
Godzilla on that one.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
What's more intriguing to you? Unlimited time or unlimited money?
Time.
Mm-hmm. Success with no happiness or happiness with no success?
Happiness with no success.
Okay. You can teleport, but only to Walmart. Is it worth it?
Hell no. No, not only to Walmart.
That's so funny. What is your go-to comfort food?
Ooh, probably deep dish pizza.
Yeah. What if you wake up at midnight and you just want that midnight snack? Then what is it?
My daughter's sweet potato pie.
Oh, yum. Would you rather fight one Komodo dragon sized gecko or 100 gecko sized Komodo dragons?
Give me the one Komodo dragon. I can't focus on things at once.
Uh, you win $10 million. What's the first dumb thing you buy?
Dumb thing I buy. Wow. The first dumb thing I buy. Probably buy another motorcycle.
Yeah.
You can only ride one at a time.
I was going to say, you can only ride one at a time.
Yeah,
That's
I have
kind of
one.
dumb.
Yeah, just buy another one, but yeah.
How many remote controls is too many for one living room?
How many is too many?
Mm-hmm.
You can have too many remote controls.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like everything you need 4 remotes to control these days. Crazy.
actually two, because all I need is one. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
Be invisible. Hell, I could walk on the plane and get a seat for free. Nobody would see me.
Right? What if somebody sat on you?
Well, there is that. All depends how she looked.
All right. Finish this sentence. I'm too old for.
Bullshit.
I love that. Great answer. How often do you pretend to know what you're doing?
Very rarely. If I don't know, I don't know.
Right? No pretending happening over there.
No.
If you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would it be?
Oh man. Um, Either Bugs Bunny or Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh, nobody's ever said that one. That's awesome. We kind of went over this, but it's on my list, so I'm going to ask anyhow.
Okay.
What's one thing you would suggest to a newbie just getting started?
Take your time.
Yep. Great advice. Do you have any plans of starting your own podcast?
No.
No? Not even a glimmer of a thought there?
Not really.
Okay.
There's a lot of good podcasts on already.
Yeah.
And if I started one, it would have to be to fill some kind of gap or hole that's
Right.
not there now. And
Yeah,
don't
I
see that.
understand that. Good deal. In your opinion, what's the most rewarding part of breeding thus far in your journey?
Building relationships.
Yep, with the community.
Mhm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Last question for you in the hot seat. What's one piece of advice you would give your 18-year-old self?
Don't worry about what other people think.
Yeah.
And don't
It's
be
so
smart.
hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It is really hard. I struggled with that a lot growing up. You survived the hot seat, Jeff. That was fun for me.
Good.
Thank you for joining me. Thank you for
Thank
everybody that came out to watch today. And as always, like, follow, share, and subscribe.
Easy peasy. You stomped all over the hot seat.
No, I'm still sweating here.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I know we talked about it early in the show. We talked about it before the show. I'm like, man, I don't broadcast from the snake room for that reason. I'd pass out, man. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. Not sure how you're getting through it yet, but
The fan is saving me right now.
yeah, have to have that on. So yeah, great answers, man. Some of those pretty unique. I like the idea and the argument behind the invisibility. You know, it's like, why would you just fly if you could go do all these other things with invisibility? You could fly free anyway, right?
Exactly.
Just got to sleep in the aisle or something.
Or you can walk into a bank, make a withdrawal, and, you know,
All
Yeah.
the withdrawals you want.
there you go.
My luck, I'd get on the plane that had no open seats, and I'd be standing
Yeah,
somewhere
that's
in the corner, sitting in the bathroom the whole flight.
Right? In use.
Yeah.
So Jeff, coming back from that, it's always a fun thing. We get a little chance to know the guest better, just some odd things about them personally we don't touch on, or Jay or I don't touch on. But can we talk a little bit about what you got going? I know you said you got Ultramel Clown.
Yep.
That's going with Hypo and Pied as well. What other, well, maybe recessive side are you really looking to be focused in on?
On the recessive side, clown. Got some clowns. I got the Ultramel, sunset. Have a little bit of sunset as well that I'm going to be working on.
Nice.
That's pretty much the focus on the recessive side, and some pie.
Okay. Are you doing the hypo pretty strong too? Are you trying to get that in a lot of what you're doing?
I plan on getting it in some. I don't know about a lot yet.
Okay.
I currently only have 3 hypo animals actually. A couple of them are, pets, and one uh, visual. But I haven't quite decided. I know I want to put it in Ultramel. I want to try and, I think, put it in Sunset as well. When I think about what I want to put it in, for some reason, the first thing that pops in my mind is, it's going to be down the line. But I think that's kind of the fun part.
Right.
So, but I'm thinking about it in Ultramel and in Sunset to start. I also have some lace that I want to put in
Nice.
Sunset. Yeah, I
I
think
think that's going to be a
think
really
a
nice
hypo
combo.
lace Sunset would be pretty awesome.
Heck yeah.
Doing anything with Desert Ghost? I don't remember if you had said that.
I have some Desert Ghost. It's currently in my codons. I have a Mario.
Oh,
Desert
that's right.
Ghost,
Yeah. Yep.
That I plan to use, and I've got some het Desert Ghosts. I do want to see Desert Ghosts in my Ultramel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, something initially that I didn't think I would like or would see that much, but the couple I've seen are pretty stunning.
I think I want to put Orange Dream Desert Ghost in that Ultramel, and I think that would just kind of make it pop.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got some good directions. Vending, you talked about getting to these expos, and I know you're early with not having eggs yet and not, doing that side of it, but which expos have you been to? I know we talked about Sear, you talked about Tinley. Have you done
AARPE?
Okay.
I actually just made reservations last night for Daytona.
Oh, nice.
So that was an easy sell for my wife. It's on the beach and it's in August.
Right.
And I will probably go back to Tinley in October. Definitely going to Siri. It's an hour, 45 minutes away from me. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely be at Siri in August, and plan on going back to Tinley in October.
Nice. So with your tour and trips of those, is this something you would definitely say to people, hey, get to the ones you can get to? I mean, is this...
Absolutely. absolutely, because seeing the animals on live, seeing them on IG is good. Seeing them in person and being able to speak to the person who made that animal, uh, and really understanding what it takes to make that animal. Uh, I remember talking to Antoine at High Desert, uh, and he made that Hellbender, and
Yeah.
we were talking about it. He was like, man, that thing took me like 70 clutches.
Yeah.
You think about that, that's a lot of work, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
with 70 clutches, and then you finally hit it, So, but I think just those kind of conversations that you're not going to have on IG, you're not going to have, via a podcast, but you can have in person. And then again, I know I keep saying it, but just meeting people and putting a face with that name, it's just, it's it's been awesome. Um, and then building those relationships, folks that when you have a question, you can pick up the phone and call, or send
Yeah.
them a message, and you get a response, or you're lost or you're stuck, and you're like, hey, I don't help me out here, and then the first thing somebody says is, well, when I was in that situation, so you go, oh shit, I'm not by myself,
Yeah.
Right, right.
so.
Yeah.
And any small shows that in between now and then I tend to hit. I think there's one here in June, as a matter of fact, that I'll probably go to.
Some of the smaller local stuff.
Local.
Smaller
Yeah.
local shows. Yeah, I think I could see myself vending. Later down the road. Uh, you know, it looks like it's really enjoyable, and I don't know what it is, obviously, but because I've never done it, but it looks like something I'd definitely want to try. Let me say that.
Yeah.
Well, we're on the same page there. We have not either, and
Yeah,
it's weird even getting prepped for it. It
yeah,
really is. Not sure what to expect. We might love it. We might go, well, this isn't for us, but we're about to find out.
yeah.
So,
I can see it's a lot of work, hard work, but I think it probably be. I can envision it being rewarding as well. So
Yeah, exactly. Just from a
yeah.
social aspect, and
exactly,
if you like to interact with people, it's a great way to do that. So
yep, exactly.
Something we hinted at and touched on. Community guys that you've met and reached in and got into the communities with, the Whiskey Bomb guys over there.
Hmm.
You are involved in Genetic Canvas too.
Yes.
With one of the guys you talked a little bit about, Jared, who's a great guy, super knowledgeable. How are you finding that experience? What's that like sitting on that side of it in that network show with all of these people bringing awesome examples to it? I mean, it's built around learning genes, right? So that's got to be ideal.
Kind of like night school.
Right?
right.
A little bit, right?
Yeah, no, a little bit. It's just learning, and not just from Jared, but the guests themselves bring so much knowledge as well, especially about the specific gene they're talking about.
Hmm.
It's a great way to get some history, some background, um, and I think if you want to get into that particular gene, it's a great way to know who's working it, you know, where
Yeah.
it originated. Can you still go to that originator? Or if not, you know, maybe one of those guys on the panel is the best place to go to get the best quality of that, whatever gene you want to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show's done really well, and I love the idea that they bring in multiple points of view, not just a
Right.
guest with Ultramel. They have 3 guests with Ultramel to
Right.
see different directions and thoughts and opinions on what can be done with it and what directions make sense and which don't. And fantastic show. So again, kudos. I'm giving a lot of kudos tonight, but congrats on being in that situation, because for a new person to be there and to absorb all that firsthand, Awesome, man. Awesome. And you do a great job with comments too and questions. So
I try. I appreciate it, and shout out to Keys and Wiz and Jarrett for giving me the opportunity. I really enjoy the kind of that diversity of thought, like you mentioned, when you get those different people on the panel, um, and they work the same gene different ways.
Yeah.
Right? In the different genes, and I never thought about that. You know, but like you said, it's not just one person. There's three people working the same gene, and
right.
a lot of them don't show the same animals. So
Absolutely. Yeah, that's key. And I think that's what makes it such a good pivotal show for people making that decision. Is this something I want to work? They get a far better idea than that one example where this is what I do with it, and they try to make a decision based off of that. Now you've got some varying opinion. And I've even seen some guys change their mind from one camp or another in mid-show. Like, wow, I never thought to do that, but I really like that. I'm going to try that. Do you know what I mean? It's awesome. It's a good show. So, and you do a nice job on it.
thank you.
Can you tell us when it is? And
Tuesday,
I know when it is, but for the audience out there.
Tuesday nights at 8 on the Whiskey Bomb Network.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So jump over there, guys.
And I'm sorry, John. Seeing Eric tap in just brought another thought to mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another piece of advice that I would give to a newbie is join a Patreon.
Yeah.
Join a Patreon.
Okay.
I'm a member of a couple of them, Leviathans and Herb Collectors, Bomb Projects, and Mutation Creation. And Mutation Creation, I was on a call. He had a Zoom call, and that's where I started talking about some of my pairings. And Billy Rowe just kind of blew my shit out the water.
Just blasted you. Like, don't pair that up.
Basically, his exact words were, "Nah, you get rid of that shit."
That's funny.
But it was cool. I didn't. It didn't bother me at all. But what he also did was, go tell. He said, "Hey, you're in the Patreon. Go to my video. Watch this video." And when I watched that video, it's kind of like with everything else I had heard, the light bulb just turned on. And I was like, "Oh, now I got it." And it helped it make sense. So, if you're new, join a Patreon. Even if you have here, and you can get in the Discord and see the exchange of ideas and comments going back and forth. That's been really priceless as well.
Great source of information for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it goes right in with that first thing. You had already kind of mentioned a mentor, but that's kind of how I view Patreons anyway. It's like you don't always have direct access to a mentor. Maybe you're in a super rural spot where nobody's close to you. You can't call a person because they're busy at work or they're doing, you know what I mean? So it does give you that kind of a stand-in mentor, but a group of people, right?
Yeah.
That all have things to pitch in there. So fantastic advice. I agree 100%. Great advice there. Closing up, we're getting to that hour and a half. We talked a little bit about it. We're trying to move, and that's something I will announce here too. We are going to move the show a half hour up, guys, because Jay's on this crazy drive. He's on a crazy commute at like 4 a.m. into the Twin Cities, and it's a long drive besides. So any chisel of time we can move this earlier, we can. And we talked it over with Keys and the guys over at Whiskey Bomb, and because it is kind of moving closer to their balls and things show, but it's not going to intrude too much, and we don't want to do that anyway. It's not how we started it. We found the slot by grabbing a wide open slot, right? And I think, Josh agrees too. Like if we can bump that up just that half hour, it keeps some of the East Coast people a little more able to watch us. Save Jay that half hour of sleep where he doesn't have to hit the snooze right to when he's got to leave. But so next week, catch us at 8. We are doing that officially next week.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, we're going to bring Jamie out. We're going to do a trivia on all the stuff we covered tonight. We're going
Okay.
to give you a little bit of an opportunity for direct thank yous and shout outs from your side for all the people you want to say person to person. Hey, here's a shout out. So let's jump over there. We'll get that situation going with Jamie out here.
Bye.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Switch us around a little bit.
I just have one question for Jeff before we do trivia.
Sure.
You can ask several, Jamie. What do you got?
Okay. Do you have any plans to get into other species, or are you just going to stick with ball pythons?
I have we have a crested gecko that we do keep, but I love ball pythons. It's just something
Yeah.
about the different morphs, and
Yeah.
the calm disposition. Who knows? Who knows?
So I can't interest you in a leopard gecko? Just kidding.
I actually
No
looked at
interest.
one.
Joke. Just jokes.
No interest in screaming frogs.
That's
That's weird. I always say
You know,
they're very calming. Screaming
Oh,
frog.
They're so
Baby
nasty, dude.
leopard geckos scream too.
That's
Yeah,
like you're
that's
stabbing a baby when them things holler. It's the worst
Yeah, they're
noise.
oh goodness.
Like, why would you keep
I could
those?
see a couple of more geckos.
Yeah.
I like them, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to have 20 of the things, but they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
We almost
Yeah.
already have 20, Jay.
No, the screaming.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's too funny. Okay, trivia. I have two questions, but I'm going to pick question
Oh, Jamie,
B.
Jamie. Question B. Okay.
Jeff went to Repticon. What snake brought him back into the hobby of breeding?
That's a good one.
Yep. That's a
Good
good
answers on
question.
this one.
And we're going to need specifics. Like the combo and the snake.
The sound of the screaming frogs is what put me to sleep as a kid.
I
Right?
know, I'm reading that right
Jordan's
now.
awesome,
I can't
man.
pop it up right this second, but it's
Yeah.
fun.
So, yeah, this is for Forge Coin, guys. Forge Coin is probably, I don't know what we're going to do
Oh.
with Forge Coin. It was a pied. But
It
we're gonna need
was.
better than that.
Kind of
More
fun.
than that.
Always
though.
pieds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was pretty specific, huh?
You
Yeah.
were, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have an answer. It popped up on my phone first, so I gotta wait for it here.
Yep. There it
Yep.
is.
Eric Smith, you've
Good
got
Eric.
$10 Forge coin in your pocket.
Nice job, Eric.
Congrats.
Chris over at
Nice
BNS
job.
Reptilia is waiting for you. For that Forge
Yes.
Yeah.
Grab yourself some Coco or grab one of our hats. Somebody needs a Forge hat too, I could tell.
coin.
Right?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But
I still have that guy too.
yeah. Oh, do you? Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome, man. So we're gonna do this section. We're gonna pop you up here, Jeff, because it looks like you're grabbing one. We're gonna see this dude.
Not the same one.
I love hats, he says. Fun. We post the Forge coin tally on our Discord page. If anybody wants the link to that, just shoot us an Instagram message and we'll get that over to you.
He's actually in shed with that first same guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Such a beautiful, simple combo, right? Just yellow belly pied. They look fantastic.
When it sucked me in, and he's in shed and still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
he
the
looks
pies.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's Jamie's project right there.
Yep.
That's what keeps all the pieds on our side. Adding
Aren't
to
they
it all the
gorgeous?
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
I'm really digging the high intensity orange dream lately.
In the pied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, talk to Sammy.
Right?
Right.
I know.
Yep.
We
Yep.
have talked to Sammy. He's got some beauties over there.
Yeah, he wanted some of the G-Neck stuff from this side to throw in with his OD. So,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome looking male there. Fantastic. Did you have anything else you want to show off tonight?
Everybody just ate, but let me see.
It's totally up to you. Certainly don't have to. We don't bug our snakes when they ate either.
Yeah,
Just leave them be.
a couple of them I was worried about if they were going to eat. I don't know about this one.
Watch out for that ceiling fan. Old too tall Jones over there. Don't want to get clipped by that thing.
This is the one.
Oh yeah, I'm already liking that.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful.
Super
Wow.
orange, green, pied, scrambler head hypo.
Yes. Why are they so
Nice.
pretty?
Yeah,
Telling you,
black
scrambler
that mixes
in
is
pied is
awesome, man.
crazy nice.
That's John's favorite kind of pied, low white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that low white. I haven't decided what I'm gonna put to her yet, but she's got a little while to go anyway.
Yeah.
But
She's beautiful. Do you name your snakes, Jeff?
some of them have names. The latest ones I got don't, because I
Okay.
can't remember.
Yeah. We're getting to that point too. I name all of the snakes, but then I'm like, what did I name it? I can't remember.
Exactly.
Yeah, that girl's gorgeous. Is that the Marcus Jane contribution?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So just a couple that we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah, beautiful animals, Jeff.
Plans together. Thank you.
Well, I can't thank you enough for taking your time out on a Wednesday, saying hi to everybody and letting us know what you got going on over there. It was awesome to meet you finally. I know we kind of bounced messages back and forth. You popped in here and watched a few times. I always see you in the chats and talk, but it's always better to just sit and BS. I had a blast. Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. Opportunity, schmopportunity. You graced us with your presence, sir, so appreciate it. Anything you want to shout out there? Anybody you personally want to say, hey, or just go check this out, go check that out. Your shout out window here.
Shout out to a lot of people I already mentioned. The Jarretts, the Keys, Wiz, Craig from Crash Coda. Shout out to Josh at MCBR, Eric at ERS. People who have kind of just helped me, whether they knew it or not, actually. Will over at Flawless, Mike at Hurt Collectors, just a lot of people who just, gave me a little bit here, a little bit there, and I'm trying to just put it all together, And then shout out to Sean, who he and I, gonna be doing together on some things, and he's new to the hobby, so
Okay.
two newbies coming in. Who knows? You may see him on my channel, Chronicles of a Newbie.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'd be cool.
Be awesome, yeah.
They have
Pull
more
them in there.
of us,
Don't let them say no is the key. Just drag them in from the side with if you gotta.
I'll just show up at his house with the phone and the camera, like, okay, you're on.
Right.
Right.
Why aren't you dressed? Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
I really appreciate everyone who's kind of, just been open and welcoming. It's great,
Yeah.
Absolutely,
100%,
man. And appreciate your time. Hang out with us for a little bit. We're going to talk with you backstage.
Okay.
Next week, guys, a half hour earlier, right? We're going to move this up from 8:30 to 8 o'clock. We've got GTL geckos coming on. Jeffrey, somebody Jamie grabbed. We want to start getting some different species in here, get some different groups of people. But going to be a really fun show. Just don't want to confuse people because it is going to be that half hour earlier. Little feedback on the different platforms, guys. It seems like everything worked fine. I think Facebook went out fine. Looks like Instagram still did okay. If you liked it, fine. Let us know. Awesome. We'll keep doing those. If not, we can drop those off if it doesn't make sense for people to watch in that way. No point in us going through the work and setup and steps to put it out that way. So feedback's awesome, guys. Criticism is always welcome. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. If we don't hear, we can't know. We're just guessing. We're sending this stuff out to space. So, but yeah, Jeff, thank you again, man. Hang out for a little bit. We're going to close this one out. Yeah. 2 more days, guys. And then we got a weekend already on Thursday tomorrow morning. We got a weekend coming up. So everybody have a great finish to your week. And we'll see you next week, Wednesday.
We'll give you a show update next week. Let you know how it went.
Yeah, how our
Absolutely.
vending went. Yeah, that'll be good.
I did want to jinx us, but thanks, Jay. Now we got to do that. We're gonna have all
Was it
kinds
a disaster or was it not?
Right.
To be continued.
Did we remember to
be
bring the
continued.
snakes?
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys. Everybody have a fantastic week and appreciate you all again for coming out. Peace out, guys. Closing out this one.